All right. Welcome
Let's
to
do this.
Nostalgicast, your weekly roundup of the best and most up-to-date nostalgic news, where we discuss the stories and give our thoughts.
Hey.
I'm your host, who misses Friars Club roasts, Andrew Price. Get your hands off him, you damn dirty ape, Tyler Palo. Don't call it a comeback, Kelby Joseph.
Hello.
I could have gotten away with it if it weren't for that meddling Julia Mond filling in for Blue Magoo Lou and Dad Beats, a.k.a. Kirk Pinchon.
Dad Beats!
Welcome back, guys.
Hey,
Hey.
what's going on?
Hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving.
bit. What'd you do?
Slept a bunch.
Yeah,
It was the time of our Turkey Lord.
Turkey Lord.
We worshipped at the altar of the Turkey Lord.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I didn't do
That's
it.
I
true.
had
That's true.
I actually didn't have
vegan
turkey
French
either.
onion soup
Ooh.
because I cannot partake of the giblets of the Turkey Lord.
This guy's something
Is
else.
French onions? Wait, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
Are you going to ask what French onion soup is?
No, I know what French onion soup is.
French onion soup is made with beef broth.
Beef broth.
And
Thank
it's-
you.
You ate that?
No, he didn't
I
eat
said
it.
vegan.
Vegan.
Oh.
What'd you use instead? Vegetable?
I don't know. My mom made it.
Vegan.
I didn't
Your
ask.
mom made it for you?
Yeah, it was regular beef.
It was just.
I don't help out on Thanksgiving. You know why? Because when somebody
Why are you bragging about
when
that?
somebody
Yeah,
comes to my house,
Not a man.
I don't expect them to help with anything. It's my house. I will make you food.
But
Yeah,
that's your
but some-
parents' house. That's
Yeah.
Whenever
your
I'm
house.
at my parents' house, I ain't doing shit.
That's your
It's,
house.
yeah, their house is their rules.
Some of y'all.
And my rules are I ain't doing shit.
Did you just say spanking?
You're a
Excuse
bad
me.
son.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not good.
What do you call
My
it?
mom knows. She listens to this.
Whooped.
She'll hear this.
What's
Yeah,
up?
no, she's gonna comment underneath. She definitely will.
What's up, Suze?
She's like, he's not lying again. He doesn't touch a thing.
How was everybody's Thanksgiving? Was it mine was a whirlwind.
What happened?
Tons of stuff.
Aside from you not helping out at all.
Let's see. A couple days before Thanksgiving, my mom and my aunt had some kind of falling out, and my aunt canceled Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
None of my other family were at the Thanksgiving. It was just me and my immediate family, which was like me and my parents and my
That's the
brother,
perfect-
my sister, and my brother's girlfriend, and my nephew. And so, that's all happening. And during Thanksgiving, my mom is like, oh, like, I just feel so bad for your cousins that they're not getting Thanksgiving. And so she's like calling them and being like, you could come over or whatever. And she's like making like a big deal about it. And she keeps like texting them and just talking about how bad she feels. And eventually I was just like, they're fine. Like, they're adults.
Yeah.
If they wanted to come over, they would come over. I'm sure that they're having their own Thanksgivings with their own families. I'm sure that they're fine. They're not being held prisoner.
Adults have feelings too, though. Just because they're adults doesn't mean they're immune.
I'm an adult.
Two.
I don't have feelings.
Yeah, but
You're not an adult.
Oh, damn it.
yeah.
It's a really good
You
point.
text somebody, you want to come over to Thanksgiving. If they don't do it, then they don't want to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
They're
I
not
mean, that's
they're
fair.
not
Yeah.
children. They're not being held captive.
But they're always in competition with each other. It's like if you don't have the most people at your house at Thanksgiving, you're a bitch.
No, I don't think
Where
it
do
was
you
that.
get a lot of
I
the stuff
think-
that you say?
My mom was just making this big deal about feeling. I think she just felt bad, like they weren't getting to have a Thanksgiving, but they were. They were just having Thanksgiving with at their own houses. And then my dad having a little too much to drink, saying weird, inappropriate things at the table, just making it real awkward.
Can we get a taste?
Yeah, let's get an example.
I don't remember, and also probably some of it was racist. So I don't know.
No, I really want to know what. Blacks coming over here taking our jobs. I'm like, Dad, you're mixing up the story here.
I'm airing some dirty laundry. And my mom's definitely going to
don't-
listen to this
don't
because
do
she's the Pandora's box is opened up because she
Oh,
listens to the podcast now. But
Don't do
whatever.
that.
My cousin was married to this guy,
Oh,
and then
gosh.
he ended up turning out to be like a psycho who was like a stalker, and he was like mentally abusive, and they ended up getting a divorce. But from all the stories I heard, because my brother lives with my cousin, and he was around this for a long time, and he unloaded all these stories to me. And if those stories are to be believed, which I think they are, this guy was genuinely a psycho. He was genuinely a sociopath and a dangerous person. And then I find out after their divorce was finalized, my mom like reached out to him to see if he was okay. And I was like, "What are you
Oh my
doing?"
God.
And I was like,
No.
and I was like, "Mom, not everybody deserves sympathy. Like some
Yeah.
people are just bad and you need to shun them." Like she just feels like she has to make
Yeah.
everybody feel happy. And it's like some people just are lost causes. Some people need to be abandoned.
I'm not gonna make any jokes about.
So I'm freaking out about this, and I'm like, I can't believe you did that.
Yeah. Abandoned People 2020. That's what it's about.
It was a whirlwind.
That sounds like a
That's
whirlwind.
not even
why
all
he's
of
not
it.
an adult.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, really quickly before we get to the stories, just a follow up from something we talked about a couple episodes ago. So, 2 or 3 episodes ago, we talked about this idea. I was like, take it easy on like younger, like Gen Z kids that don't know stuff about pop culture, and I kind of went into my whole theory about how millennials are the most pop culturally enriched generation because we grew up in a time when it was the dawn of cable television and the internet. So there was these platforms for 24 hours of content constantly being piped in at you. And we all, sort of had parents that sort of just left us to our own devices, watching TV and on the computer all day. But there wasn't enough new programming to fill up that 24 hours. So they would just show old reruns of everything dating back from, the dawn of film to the 90s. So we were constantly exposed to like the history of film and television. Whereas nowadays with younger kids, there's just too much content that exists now that's constantly being made for them to be able to really go back and explore the history of content. And so I kind of went through that theory, and I was like, so take it easy on younger kids whenever they don't know about something. It's not, there's a reason for it, and it's understandable. So recently, Billie Eilish was on Jimmy Kimmel, and I didn't really watch the video, so I don't know exactly. I just read the article, but at some point in the conversation, it came up that she has no idea who Van Halen is.
Well, that's not bad.
And there was a huge backlash of just like, how do you not know who Van Halen is? And just, it was like this big viral thing.
She's
People
7.5 years
people-
old.
people were
she's-
tweeting-
She's 17.
Yeah, she's 17. People were tweeting about it, being like, "How do you not know who?" And like, "Oh, the current generation is doomed," and all these things, which is exactly what we talked about on that previous episode.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to reiterate on this. Billie Eilish is a 17-year-old teenage girl. Van Halen is so far out of her frame of reference. It would actually be strange if she did know who Van Halen was.
Yeah.
She would have to have a very specific interest in that era of music, like be specifically interested in that type of thing to know who Van Halen
Yeah.
is.
She would have to know music from 40 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like if someone
Her
came
parents
to me,
probably
Yeah.
don't know, or her parents don't listen to Van Halen.
No, and she's a pop star, so why should she know Van Halen? Also, it's like if someone came up to me and was like, "What do you mean you don't know who the Ink Spots are?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know who the fuck they are. I don't know their music. That was like 40 years before."
What do
I was
you
born."
mean you don't know who Charleston Radigan and the Foxworth Four are?
They're
The-
paramount to
Everybody
musical
knows.
The
history.
vaudeville team of rastabouts from the early 1900s.
Yeah, it's
know that.
it's
Yeah.
unnecessary. Now, if she'd been like, "Oh, but I know Van Hagar. They're amazing."
then you're canceled.
Yeah.
You're canceled.
But that's if it's a bunch of Gen Xers as part of a Gen X group, stop.
It's
She's in
but
high
this is
school.
kind of like a this is kind of
Well,
like a
she's
trend.
not.
There's like
She's being
a
homeschooled.
YouTube
but
video talking about how
She's
all
homeschooled?
of-
I would assume. I mean, she's probably never.
Oh, that's right, because she's on
She's
tour.
on
yeah.
tour and.
Duh.
I mean,
Well,
I
either
was,
way,
sense.
she-
I should thought
I was
she's
homeschooled,
still-
and I know who Van Halen is.
you
So that's
know.
not really the extent.
No.
She's
but
within the
parents-
range
of
of
Van Halen, or did you go
time.
searching
I'm
for
not.
them
I'm not
yourself?
saying because she's
Um,
homeschooled she doesn't know. He said she's in high school, and I said, well,
Oh,
I
yeah,
assume
yeah.
she's
Yeah.
homeschooled. Not
Oh.
saying because she's
like, she has
homeschooled.
children.
Oh, okay.
That's why she
Okay.
would know.
I get these people are just getting upset for no reason.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but it's like the new late night thing, or not late night talk show thing. Is like Ellen does it. She like does like she bring millennials on and like asks them to fold up a map, and it's like we don't need these things. There's no reason for it.
Can I ask,
You-
wait, fold up a mat?
A map.
Oh, a map.
Yeah, she unfolded a map and like put a rotary phone out, and it's like you look
Out there,
dumb. Like,
out there in the world, there was a bunch of cartographers watching that episode of Ellen, and just a single tear
just
trickling down their cheek.
Folding a map is not easy.
That's also a
Yeah.
good point.
I'm also not sure
It's
what
also
you mean by that.
unnecessary.
Folding a map?
Are
so,
you saying,
so a
like-
map is
Yeah,
you're
there's
unfolded this
back
way
in the
and then
day when you used to have to use a paper map to
Yeah.
get places.
Yeah, like the one you buy at the
7-Eleven.
Like AAA.
There's a-
Yeah.
There's a specific way that they're folded,
Right.
Because if you just folded it like hot dog and then hamburger, it would be all like kind of thick and puffy. So
Right.
they have like a specific way that they're folded so that they can be really flat.
Oh, okay.
It's accordion style.
Can we go back to hot
But
dog,
it's
hamburger,
not-
hamburger?
But it's
What does that mean?
That's
hot
like
dog
a-
is in half vertically.
That's like a thing you learn in school.
And-
In elementary school, they teach you like when you fold a piece of paper sideways, it's hot dog, and when you fold it front ways, it's hamburger folding.
Never learned that.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
hot dog style, hamburger style.
Also, whenever you're skiing and somebody says pizza,
Pizza.
you
What is it?
push your toes inward and make a pizza shape with
If
your
you
skis.
French fry when you're supposed
I
to
knew that.
pizza, you're gonna have a bad time.
What is that from?
It's a deep cut South Park reference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Billie Eilish, you don't know what that is.
Yeah. But you know, like we talked about that one episode, there's gonna come a time when we're not gonna have enough mental capacity to retain. Like I feel like human beings are going to evolve into creatures that can only retain the information that is currently happening to them, because we're going to be so overwhelmed and oversaturated with data. You can only just know what's going on in the moment.
Well, you're right, because let me ask you guys a question. What year did the whole Juicy Smollett thing happen?
Why are you calling him juicy?
This
I'm
year, but
sorry.
it feels like it was 7 years
Yeah.
ago.
I think I called him Juicy because Dave Chappelle called him Juicy. So
Okay.
now I'm like mixing
Oh.
up the name. And then I'm spelling it in my head and I'm like, is it Juicy or is it Juicy?
I think it's Jussie, but I
Jesse,
don't know.
Jesse,
Jesse, yeah.
Jesse. Do you know?
Oh, yeah.
That was this year, right?
Yeah, it seems like it
But it
was
feels like it
2018, 2017.
Yeah,
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, things are as close as you could see them or as you could feel them or whatever.
Yeah.
And after that,
You just
disappear.
gotta put it out of your mind after that, and it's just like you just dump it out of the other side of your head the moment that you.
There's a little
processed it.
fragment in there, and then
Plus, we don't even bother to retain a lot of information because we just keep it on our phones.
Yeah.
It's like we don't need to. I forget which author it was that like the creation of typewriters was going to like cause humanity to evolve to a place where we didn't remember things as well as we used to.
It's true.
The idea of like just typing something and then it being on a piece of paper, it made it easier to write things down.
Right.
So he thought that people would just not try as much to like remember things because I can just write it down with my typewriter.
Yeah.
And he's kind of right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I feel like that idea kind of grew the same way with technology. Is like it was when it was just typewriting, it was small increments of like, I don't need to use this much memory, and now we're just everything's on our phone, and people have the attention span of a rat.
Well, it's like you don't have to even memorize phone numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which
I know.
we had
I
to
think I
do
know
all the
2
time.
phone numbers.
I don't know my
I've got,
wife's
like,
phone number.
You
three or
don't?
four
which she
numbers.
is
Yeah.
always constantly mad about.
My girlfriend's phone number is 8. No, I'm just kidding.
It's like
You
to
know your
prove your
girlfriend's-
love, you're
Yeah,
gonna,
I'm gonna
dox
dox
her.
my girl.
Do you actually know her phone number?
I do, yeah, I do. I actually know her phone number and then her phone number before the phone number she currently has.
Okay, but so if we're not going to remember information as well as we used to, are there any tools to help us choose which information is important? Because I think no.
Phones.
I don't think so either, but I think we're going in the way of like that Black Mirror episode where everything's recorded through your eyes and you can kind of just play back the day. I think that's more of what's going to be happening with society. It's
In
just
the future?
Yeah.
the ability to basically just like view your entire day as a vlog or something where you can go back and go, I remember doing that now because it happened. I don't think it's going to like change in the opposite way where we work on like our mental abilities instead of working on how to fix the easier problem.
So you think we're getting dumber?
Yeah, absolutely.
First of all, my favorite episode of Black Mirror is the one where that girl gets the exercise bike and trains and records herself training on
God,
it
don't.
every day.
I was like, what is this? What is this?
There was a commercial that recently came out
Peloton.
for the Peloton, and people are saying that it's creepy and disturbing.
She does look like she's like worried.
Yeah, it
the
is.
entire
It's
time.
scary.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Kirk?
Yeah.
Oh, crossword puzzles.
Mm.
Yes.
Crossword puzzles will help your brain.
I just wish the
That's all.
words were in
Anything
there so
else?
I could
Nope,
know what
that's
they
it.
are.
Nothing else.
I've thought about this a lot, and I've thought about the fact that like a lot of these people who are getting outed for certain things that they did a long time ago, you know, the Me Too movement and things like that, or whatever it is, whether it's that or something else where somebody did something terrible in the past, and you know it's been decades, and they've just long thought that they got away with it, and then it just comes to sort of bite them in the ass, and in the fact that like when they did these things back in the 70s, the 80s, you know, the 90s, even the early 2000s, at the time they could have never conceived of a day when these things would be brought back to haunt them because, they didn't think that those people would one day be more empowered to speak up about them. They didn't realize that the internet would exist so that these things could be like massively talked about and traded globally, and that things that happen over here can be talked about in the rest of the world. Like they just did not, they didn't conceive of these things when they did those things back in the day. It could have never occurred to them. And I was thinking about, I've thought about the fact of like, what's the next thing that's going to happen where there's something in the future that we can't even conceive of now that 30 years from now is going to dredge up our deepest, darkest secrets that we could never even conceive anybody would ever know about. And the thing that I've thought of is that I feel like there's going to become a day when they invent a technology where you can extract everybody's memories out of their brain and watch them like a movie.
Yep.
Isn't that Minority Report?
People are going to see some dark shit.
Right, exactly. That's
Minority Report, right?
Kind of. No, Minority Report is that there's these 3 precogs which that can see the future, and they can predict when somebody is going to commit a crime.
That's what's going to happen now.
That's okay. So
that's gonna happen.
What I'm thinking is like, as much as we're able to store all of our information on phones and stuff, we're eventually going to be able to do that with the mind. And eventually, if like the school of thought is like we get more and more progressive, but also just worried about being sensitive, we're gonna give power to the people who can just take a thought you had and use it as evidence against whatever they want to accuse you for. And that's a worry that I genuinely have.
There's definitely a lot of things that you've said out of context. But
that's what it's like. I say the dumbest shit, and
no, you don't.
So, but when you were talking about how things that people couldn't even conceive would be brought up, and that way memory is becoming more, like collective memory is becoming more permanent through the internet. Maybe not, personally or individually, our mental memory is probably degrading, but in terms of a collective memory, it's probably getting stronger because we're only finding new ways to record what we're doing in each moment.
Yeah, but it's no longer a memory. You've uploaded it. It's data now. You take it out of your brain and you put it into a server, and it has become data. You don't need to remember.
So what makes it a memory when you look at it and you feel something?
A memory is a multi-sense experience. It's something that has an idea, a smell, a taste, a emotional experience, all tied into it. That you remember something with your entire body. When you talk about an experience and you post it online, it just becomes a piece of data of something that happened.
What is the word? Olfactory? Is that what it's called? Mm-hmm. It's like it engages all of the senses. Mm-hmm. I think a memory has to like fit into that category. It has to do that. And
in a lot of ways, it's actually superior because memories are fallible and malleable, and absolutely there's so much scientific data backing the fact that you can like create false memories and you can make people remember things that never happened. Turning it into data is actually more reliable. Like the fact that like some of these things that people are bringing up from decades ago, there's still this buffer of like it's been so long and maybe you're not remembering it correctly and all these things like that. But starting from the moment that people started recording everything and filming everything and talking about things the moment that they happen and making them records that exist online, from that moment on, everything's concrete. You can go back and you can definitively reconstruct an event because it's all there. It was all documented the moment that it happened, and there's literal footage and things like that of it. So in a lot of ways, it's superior.
Okay, question for just like the evolution of information. Back in the day, like the whole Free Tibet movement.
No, I'm just wondering where you're going with this.
It's like information traveled at such a slower rate back then, but it seems like there were more protests and more involvement from the people who got that information. And now we have everybody with the information and able to see the wrongdoings around the world, but I don't see as many protests.
Yeah, because people take the path of least resistance. It's like if you experience injustice and your only option is to get up and do something about it, the more passionate of us will get up and do something about it. If you experience injustice, your options are getting up and doing something about it or posting about it on social media and your post going viral and feeling that endorphin rush of I did something. That's easier to do. It's kind of fucked up.
That makes a lot of sense. It is fucked up. That's kind of what it like. Where do we go from there? How do we make those two things different? Like I want to get all the knowledge and all the
burn the servers. Go escape from LA on everybody's ass and just
Pliskin it.
Yeah, Pliskin it.
You guys are saying references I have no idea.
I also think that you should probably do a little bit more research about that, because in the last 3 years there have been the most and the biggest and the largest and the most populated riots and what was the word that you used? Protests of all time.
You're probably right. I probably should do a little more research and always do a little more research, but it's like maybe it's also just the information getting back to me about the current status of protesting. You know what I mean? Like these things that the giant protests we see, like the Women's March, huge, big in the media, but the other ones I haven't heard many of the other ones. And,
maybe it's
that's
just
probably
because it's not
also
something that you're paying attention
to. It didn't seem like the Women's March did anything. Like
it's a different conversation.
That's our other podcast.
Yeah.
The
That's
effectiveness of
Yeah.
protests is definitely a different topic.
right.
Yeah.
And do you think that has to do with the technology and the ability to just say I saw it on my phone, I liked it, and that's enough for me?
No, I think it's about transparency and what action are you taking. I mean, you're showing that you care about something, but are you taking action to actually manipulate legislation? Maybe the numbers could convince somebody, but I think in terms of a direct action, it's not actually manipulating any change. It could cause change through a domino effect, but I don't think it directly manipulates change.
All right, bada bing.
As I once said, the only thing that a change.org petition has ever changed is the amount of data on the change.org servers.
Yeah, speaking of change.org, there's a
Wait.
Is this an ad?
Nostalgia podcast.
yeah. Oh, sorry.
Nostalgia podcast.
yeah.
This is
What happened in nostalgia this week? I really want to know.
Speaking of change.org, they're developing a Dragon Ball Z live action series for Disney Plus.
Thank you.
What?
Thank you.
Good
That's
transition.
exactly where I was going with that.
Yeah. Seamless.
That seems like
And what I mean by that is there's definitely a change.org position somewhere calling for them to cancel this.
that
I hope
seems
it
like
works,
it
too.
is the wrong idea on the wrong platform and the wrong show and the wrong people working on it.
Yes.
I have questions.
Yes.
Does Disney own Dragon Ball Z?
You should.
No, they don't. I
It was on Toonami
no. Well, so
15 years ago.
I
Is it a
mean,
Bandai?
Dragon Ball Z is owned by Toei Animation, which we've that's a recall of we've discussed
Oh.
Toei Animation several times.
They're
in the
doing
pa-
that
on past
switcheroo
episodes.
thing again.
They own Toei Animation, and then in the United States, Funimation owns the U.S. Licensing and distribution rights for Dragon Ball. I don't know what the connection is. I don't know why it's being developed for Disney Plus. I'm assuming it's some kind of partnership or whatever between Funimation and Disney.
More action figures.
I do know that Disney. Not that these things are related at all, but it's just this. It's not out of the realm of possibility. But I do know Disney has the U.S. distribution rights for any Studio Ghibli film. Studio Ghibli is a very large animation studio in Japan, and they've made a ton of classic films like My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, Spirited Away,
Gotcha.
Nausicaa and the Spirit of the Wind, or the Valley of the whatever. Anyway, and then Disney has the distribution rights in the U.S. for those movies.
Let me help Disney out real quick.
Okay.
Do it. Let's hear
Throw
it.
the Mara Vista label on it and put it on Hulu.
That's your solution to everything.
No.
a good
Okay, here's the
solution.
thing.
You talked about this last week about throwing the Marvista on it.
Put the Mar on this specifically
Gotta hit him
because
with that Mar Vista.
and I say this because Dragon Ball Z is about violent people.
That's the thing though is like the Mandalorian is super fucking violent.
Yeah.
People get beheaded.
Yeah.
I would say the Mandalorian's a little more violent than old school Dragon Ball.
Because my understanding of
Goku died like 11 times.
Not by
Yeah,
beheading.
but the way that he died
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
disappearing
Exactly.
into a void.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z still
A
being
thing?
produced?
No, so Dragon Ball was the original anime run based on the manga of the same name. It ran in the 80s. In the late 80s, early 90s, Dragon Ball Z ran, and the reason for the change was that the creator of Dragon Ball, Akira Toriyama, he got tired of doing Dragon Ball because it was like a comedy manga, and he just got bored of doing it. So he wanted to do an action manga instead. So he basically fast forwarded several years to when the character in Dragon Ball, Goku, was an adult, and turned it into an action shonen manga.
Oh, okay.
And so Dragon Ball Z had its run, and then he was like, I'm done with this. I want to move on. And so they continued on without him. They produced a series that he was not involved with called Dragon Ball GT. That was done in the early 2000s and universally hated by all Dragon Ball fans, and it sucks. Recently, probably back in like 2015, I think they developed Dragon Ball Super, which is a new series that directly continues from the end of Dragon Ball Z and completely Dragon Ball GT is no longer canon. And that's been running for a couple of years. I think it just finished. And
People
then
really like it.
it's just now in the last couple of years been getting to the US. So that's the one that's like currently running is Dragon Ball Super, which is like a continuation after Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
But Dragon Ball Z is the most famous and popular iteration. The idea of doing a live action movie has been kicked around for decades. They did a live action movie in the early 2000s called Dragon Ball Evolution, which was fucking terrible.
Shout out
and
to Emmy Rossum.
Nothing like the only
the
only good part of it.
You
No,
talking
that's
about
not
the one?
true.
You talking about
Chow
the
Yun
2000?
Chow Yun Fat as Master Roshi was great.
You talking about the 2008 2009 one
Is that when it was?
with
Yeah.
like Brandon something?
No, his name was Justin Chatwin.
Just okay.
Oh, Justin Chatwin.
Ugh.
Yeah, that movie sucked. But Amy Rossum as Bulma was great, and
Yeah.
Chow Yun Fat as Master Roshi was great. I wish that Chow Yun Fat would be Master Roshi in a new thing. That would be amazing.
Yeah, he'll probably be
even though he's
Lakeith
not
Stanfield.
Japanese, but still, he's a legend.
He's great.
But yeah, they're developing a live action series for Disney Plus. Very odd, but I don't know the full story behind that.
I'd love to see Mr. Popo.
No, they're not doing Mr. Popo. They're-
Julie and I have no idea.
Mr. Popo.
Let me show you
live
what, let me
action?
show
I'm a
you
good
what
listener.
Mr. Popo looks like.
Yeah, Mr. Popo is like, so there's this Namekian elder named Kame, and he lives on this little planet that's basically heaven, and not Kame. What is that's Kame is the other guy. What is
This is Mr. Popo.
yeah.
Oh wow! Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so he's widely criticized as being a black-faced minstrel
I mean, that's
character.
would be my
Yeah.
first thought when I saw it. Yeah.
They're called mud babies, and they were
That doesn't make it better.
They were,
It
no,
doesn't.
no. I'm saying like back in the day, they used to make these little charms,
Oh,
and they
okay.
were called mud babies, and they were like little black-faced minstrel, like racially insensitive knickknacks.
Mhm.
And he is patterned after a mud baby and widely criticized as such. I think in like some versions of the show, they've like lightened his skin and made him more like blue. To try to distance it from the blackface. But Japan has got some very complicated relationships with black people. They there's a lot of blackface stuff that goes on in Japan, and they just
As a kid, I was just like, "Yo, Mr. Popo is awesome."
He had the hyperbaric time chamber, right?
I
that
love
was
Mr.
awesome.
Popo. And then once
What
you
is-
grow up, like, this is bad. What?
What is what?
I'm
Not Mr.
blanking on the name
Popo.
of his master.
But everybody knows Piccolo.
Everybody knows Piccolo. Piccolo's black
Oh yeah,
too, but he's green.
Wait. What
I don't know Piccolo.
the fuck is his name?
Right? Like,
I don't know.
if
Piccolo.
anybody
I don't
had to
know.
take a guess,
Oh
like,
yeah, it's Kame. It's Kame. I was right the first time. It's Kame.
Let me see.
Kame.
Let me see.
This guy.
I kind of feel like the people of Namek are the actual black people of the show, but
They totally are. I mean, yeah. Piccolo
Piccolo's
is a
mean
black
as hell.
guy.
He's definitely somebody's dad. He's like James from.
He's Gohan's dad. He's the best. He's
Yeah.
he's the only true dad that Gohan has ever had because
Sort of.
Goku
Damn
is a
right.
terrible father.
He's not a
Goku's
terrible
such a
father.
bad
He's not a
dad.
terrible father.
You're crazy if you
He
don't
gave
think
his
he's a
life up
terrible
for
father.
the world.
No.
11 times, buddy.
So
All right,
yeah,
well-
they're doing the live action show, and it's going to have an all Asian cast with a very big budget,
That's good.
meaning that executives think this could be the beginning of another blockbuster franchise.
Nope.
It's so hard because like these things, like it can't be done live action
No,
because
it's not
it's either
supposed
going
to
to
be
be because anime is so hyper realistic
Mhm.
that it's either going to pale in comparison to what the anime is.
Yep.
Or if they really go to the levels of stretching the hyper realism, it's going to be too CGI-y.
Mhm.
And it's just not going to be it's just
What about like
just
if
leave it the
it's
way it
if
is.
it's and I don't know if this is good at better, but what if it's in like the same vein of Scott Pilgrim? Like it felt like you were watching a comic.
Yeah, if they did it like
brought to
that,
life.
that'd be really cool. Because the thing about Scott Pilgrim is that they used a lot of visual effects to do some of the over the top comic book stuff, but all of the fighting was real, practical, shot really well, choreographed with an expert stunt team, and was the chops of the fighting in that movie was like on par with like genuinely good kung fu films.
It would be very difficult for Dragon Ball Z to do that.
So for a studio, Disney has the money and the ability to do something like that. I think they really have an opportunity to make it okay.
Well, that's the issue though, is that because of how big budget it's going to be and because of the focus, like that's the issue with things. When the studio is really banking on something and it's a really big focus, they get too scared of taking risks, and then that's why things become mediocre and kind of like because it's just the studio is too scared to take risks and they wanted it to be safe, and it kind of gets safed into oblivion. And it's only when the studio doesn't really care about it, doesn't have a lot of faith in it, and they're just like, fine, they're not going to give you as much money, but they're going to let you do what you want to do. That's when things get really interesting and unique and cool.
Okay.
And
seeing somebody go Super Saiyan in real life just doesn't.
Unless it's that kid.
I was literally. No, oh wait, you're talking about
the kid going Super Saiyan
in his living room.
It's the
in
best.
His living room is the best thing.
I
in the world.
watch that video every year. And I'm never disappointed.
Yeah, I absolutely believe the moment he turned that camera off, he was a Super Saiyan.
He was.
Yeah. But there's a guy who's on
guy's
YouTube
not
right now,
an
and he's editing him. He edited himself
A lot of
becoming
Dragon
Super
Ball Z
Saiyan,
talk
and it
on
looks
there.
pretty good. Like I didn't
This
hate
is
it. It's a
such
little
good- it was
cartoony,
such
but
a
I
good
liked
show.
Dragon Ball Z could be great as a live action show if it was allowed to be done super weird. So there's a Japanese director. His name is Takashi Miike.
6'9".
And I mean,
I got that reference.
no.
You guys could date.
And
That's right.
several years ago, in like 2008 or so, he made this movie called Yatterman, which was a live action adaptation of a very obscure anime. And it's so fucking strange. And he was able to capture and bottle the tone of a anime in a live action film. It's like it's like the closest thing to a good adaptation of a live action adaptation of an anime I've ever seen, but it's so fucking weird because anime is weird.
Yeah.
And they're just not going to let it be that way.
Yeah.
Disney isn't going to let them make a weird, cool, unique show.
I'll tell you, if they do, I would love it to see one of the entire seasons of Dragon Ball Z where Goku dies, spoilers, and goes to the underworld where who is it? Bulma's dad is like the devil or something. I would love to see that sitcom
Chi-Chi's
style. Chi-Chi's dad. I would love to see that sitcom style where he's like he has to do all the missions to get back to Earth or whatever. He's running up the thing, but I would love to see like the situational comedy they could do with it. I think it'd be hilarious because that character, like the big bumbling like devil guy, was hilarious. I can't remember his name though.
I want a great Saiyaman show.
We'll see what happens. Disney, don't mess this up, or else.
But I mean, if they're getting those rights, I would love to see Goku in the Marvel universe crossovers, baby.
I don't want to see that at all.
You know,
I don't want any part of that.
Yeah, it's not.
Todd's face is telling me everything I need to know.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Zac Efron is Goku?
I don't want to see that. And I love Zac
That's a joke.
Efron.
It's a joke.
I mean,
You're putting
it's a
me
joke.
in a,
on the
between
idea
a rock and a hard place.
that I get to see Zac
gonna be an all
Efron
Asian
shirtless
cast.
again,
and
I'm
he's
okay
way
with that,
too
yeah.
small.
What? Goku's not a big guy. I mean,
Yeah, Goku's like
He's pretty
lean.
large.
He's lean.
He's large.
He's not a large person.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
he's
Vegeta is a little smaller than Goku, but
Yeah.
Goku isn't a huge guy. Brawly is a huge guy.
Brawley's a huge dude.
They don't know what we're talking about.
I-
All right, all right.
I've
Dragon
been
Ball
paying-
Z, we'll see.
I haven't
Yeah.
been paying attention for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
How does it feel, Kelby, to be one of the people in the room talking about something and nobody else knows what you're saying? Do you feel the power of it?
Feels kind of weird because I want Kirk to speak and I want Julia to say something. you know?
Well, Kirk and I have been having some
We've been having,
telepathy
yeah,
conversations.
we've been having moments.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
had a full conversation.
I saw him drink water, so I was like, "Oh, good idea. I'll
Good
drink
idea.
water."
Hydrate. Stay
Yeah.
hydrated during
Stay
Dragon Ball
hydrated.
Z
It's true,
talk.
like, I
Copy
can
that.
feel the
It's
heat
important.
coming from the conversation,
Yes.
so I want to
Okay.
get hydrated.
That's what's up.
But I will take a live action Naruto. I'll do it. I'll watch that all day.
Just gonna
More doable.
I've never seen it.
Lethal Weapon 5 is in development.
no.
We talked about this a couple episodes ago.
I'm too old
We
for
talked
this.
I
about
don't.
I think I said something like I think I literally said we were talking about Beverly Hills Cop 4,
I think
and I
so.
said I want to do a Lethal Weapon 5. I literally said that.
As
And
in,
then-
you want to write it?
no, I said I want them to do a
Oh,
Lethal
you
Weapon
want them
5.
to- okay,
I'd
yeah,
be
yeah.
so on board with it, and
Okay.
and I got my wish.
Yeah.
Okay, why? So I know. So people make 5s and 6s and 7s of whatever because it'll make money.
Mhm.
Why do people want to see different versions of that, especially if they're getting worse?
Because there's always bad guys.
Sometimes they don't get worse.
When do they not get worse?
Sometimes they don't get worse, and also even when they do get worse, most people have bad taste and don't know that they're worse.
And they also have a
They
connection
think that they're
to
good.
it.
I mean, there is a nostalgia factor
Yeah.
to it too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like,
so it's nostalgia. You just see the
Yeah.
something that you
Although
recognize and you
I
like it.
I truly don't need to. I mean, I grew up with Lethal Weapon, and Lethal Weapon 1 and 2 are really influential. 3 and 4, I don't need a 5. I get it. You guys are old. You're too old for the shit.
Yeah.
You're gonna get some young guy to do the shit. The shit's gonna be action packed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
great.
Well, here's the thing. My emotional mind wants a Lethal Weapon 5, but also Mel Gibson is a piece of shit.
A huge piece of shit.
Yeah, he is.
So I don't know.
So, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't create the franchise. It's it's a little easier to separate the art from the artist in this situation, but it still gives you pause. According to our sources, Lethal Weapon 5 is currently in the early stages of development and will definitely be happening. Better yet, we're told that both Mel Gibson and Danny Glover are expected to reprise their roles in the upcoming sequel. Joe Pesci is also rumored to be returning.
Ooh.
So he's full out of retirement.
Yeah, come back.
Um,
Yay.
From what we understand, the movie will feature both of the detectives being pulled out of retirement for one last gig. I'm not even joking right now. I am way too old for this shit. It's not a joke. I'm not doing it.
Who are you?
Are you quoting
What are you
something
doing?
right now?
Yeah,
This-
what
what are you
is
doing?
happening?
This is what Danny Glover says in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
shit.
I was like, what? I was
Yeah, I
waiting
was
for what
confused.
you were
That's
too
the,
old.
I know
that's
I-
the tagline.
He's like, I know I say this a lot, and you guys laugh, but I'm really too old for this shit.
I
You
just,
know what they
Or
should
he
do?
just keeps repeating it
Just-
because he's senile.
Oh my
I
God,
just
he's-
got out of hip surgery.
You know what they should
can't
do?
physically go.
They should
Oh my
have
God.
they should have these guys in the in the old folks home, and then have Vin Diesel come in, and he's gonna be the one that
Hey,
tells them that
guys.
they got one last mission.
Good idea.
Yeah.
I'd watch that.
Keep
And then
Vin-
Ryan Reynolds
keep-
just comes around and he just like makes a snarky comment.
Keep
Yeah,
Vin
right,
Diesel
guys?
away from my Lethal Weapon movie.
Who?
I heard Vin Diesel and The Rock
Vin
don't
Diesel.
like each other.
What?
Are you trying to start a rumor right now?
That's just what I heard.
Well, you know why? Because
Because they're both rocks.
Vin Diesel is a jabroni and a candy ass.
Ooh. Oh, he definitely smells that. He definitely smells that.
I
Wow.
like that one. Yeah.
Come at us.
Tyrese doesn't like him either.
That's
No, I'm not. As much as I love Lethal Weapon, I'm not here for it.
Why
I'd
not?
probably watch it because,
You
to be
know.
honest with you,
What?
Why not?
Because they're just. What are they going to show me
yeah.
that is going to be anything better than Lethal Weapon 1 and Lethal Weapon 2?
Andrew, elevator pitch, go.
And also, they're going to have to bring in a young guy, which they always do. So they're
Joe
going to.
Pesci.
They're gonna. Oh yeah, Joe Pesci's the young guy. Yep, that's right. That plays. It's just they're gonna bring in let's get Chris Hemsworth,
no,
and it'll be
no.
Mel Gibson's
Bring in the guy
long
from
lost
Aladdin.
son
See, for me, I'm
From his dead wife.
from his dead wife.
for me, I'm totally here for it because I'm here for it in concept because as long as it doesn't suck, as long as it's a good idea, I love the Dark Knight Returns trope. I love the idea. I talked about this with the Terminator. I love the idea of old Terminator. I want to see the old versions of heroes and cops coming back and being old and doing what I love that idea. So it's
I don't hate that idea.
It's what I want to see.
They can just do it without the Lethal Weapon stamp on it.
No, I'm
They
saying
need to
I'm-
have
I'm
Reginald
saying
Vell
I-
Johnson
I'm saying
come
I
back.
love the idea
He wants to see
of
these old people. yeah.
Riggs and Murtaugh coming back, actually old.
Yeah.
I'm definitely
But-
too old for
But
this shit.
that's what it's not
100%.
going to be. They need to be I can't run. I've had knee replacement surgery. Oh my God, where did I leave my keys for my
Ooh,
car?
yeah.
Oh, what if they?
I
So
like
you
that.
you want them to chips it like they make a spoof version nowadays?
No, it should
Like-
be real. Let's not have Mel Gibson jump off a roof and be like, "Oh my God, the 65-year-old guy just jumped off a roof and survived."
There's got to be some hyperrealism.
Well, I don't know if Denzel can do it. I don't know.
Denzel can do anything.
Yeah, don't disparage
look,
Denzel.
I mean, Tom Cruise is about the same age as Mel Gibson, and he's literally
I was-
really doing that. In
His,
real life.
his
about
statins
to
are off the
say,
chart
Tom
though. So
Cruise
that's not
is
that's
a
not-
robot.
Yeah, he's,
Tom Cruise in Ghost Protocol, which I call probably one of the best action films made in the last 25 years, proves that they can come back and get it one last time.
I'm looking up how old Tom Cruise is.
I'm
He's
gonna say
probably
53.
I'm gonna say 55.
I think Mel Gibson's a little older than him, but
59.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise is
Oh.
57.
Oh wow.
So
See?
we tied.
How old is
Mel Gibson's got to be about 66.
Mel Gibson's 63. So it's that's
Okay.
fair. 5 years difference. It's not bad.
That's dateable.
No garbage.
But-
Took so long to compose.
Thank you.
Yay, Julia.
So this is strange. So they're rebooting Planet of the Apes, which I
Love
thought
it.
which I thought was crazy.
Do
'cause
you?
Yeah.
It
I
just
love
came out,
Planet
like,
of the
Well,
Apes.
it's gonna
7 months
continue from
ago.
the Marky Mark.
Yeah,
version,
exactly.
so-
They are like when I first saw this news and I immediately kind of opened the link with the intention of like we're going to talk about this on the show. I was just thinking like, oh, they're rebooting the Planet of the Apes, like the Charlton Heston original series of Planet of the Apes. And then like when I was doing the outline, I was like, oh yeah, what about they just got finished with like a trilogy of movies that the last one came out this year, I think.
Wait, who did that one?
Well, they did Rise of the Planet of the Apes, War of the Planet of the Apes, and whatever the last one was called.
That's
it was
probably
the,
why
it was
they're
the,
doing
it
What
it.
was
wasn't
the-
the James Franco
the James
one,
Franco
then
was-
Rise, and then War.
Wait, is the James Franco
No,
the most recent
Rise
one?
of the Planet of the Apes is the James Franco one.
Oh, is
Um,
it? Oh,
Let
my bad.
me double check that.
Yeah, you don't have
Rise
to
of
put a
the
correction in.
Planet-
Oh, you didn't say anything wrong last week.
Dawn of the
I didn't.
Planet of the Apes.
I
Good
didn't.
job.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Dawn of the Planet of the
Says-
Apes.
said Todd.
Dawn,
Hold on.
Rise, War.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes is the first one. with
Okay,
James
Okay,
Franco.
James
2011.
Franco.
Dawn
Okay.
is the second one. War is the third one.
Okay,
the third
fair,
one
fair.
just came out.
What year?
When? I'm gonna say it's 2017.
2018.
A week ago.
2017.
Yeah,
Dang.
2017.
Um,
Close.
Got this one.
Yeah.
and even that I thought was
We'll
I
see
thought it was
next
more
time.
recent.
Woody Harrelson's that one. Okay.
Yeah, so they just did a trilogy of reboots, and so I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And they were completely satisfactory.
They were good.
At this
Ru-
rate,
Rupert
there's
Wyatt
gonna-
directed them. He's very good.
At this rate, there's going to be a new Harry Potter starting next week.
Isn't there?
Well, there already is.
Yeah, isn't there a new Harry
What?
Potter? Yeah.
Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, no, wait, there's
I
a-
mean, like
No,
the
that-
Sorcerer's Stone.
That's Harry
Oh, you
Potter.
mean a
That's-
remake of the old ones?
yeah.
A
Like
reboot.
starting all over again. I could see it.
I don't think
I
they'll
feel it's
remake
different.
the-
Those
They
are-
won't remake those anytime soon because J.K. Rowling has more of a control over the franchise,
Yeah.
and she
Mhm.
won't let it happen.
But I
Yeah.
think they're continuing the story from the Harry Potter.
Well, right now they're doing
storyline.
Fantastic Beasts, which is a prequel.
Oh, I see. Well, to this Planet of the Apes, I mean, I like the one with James Franco.
They're good movies, but they
Yeah,
just
they
came
are.
out.
I
They
didn't
are, yeah.
really like
And-
the other two. I thought they were a little too much.
I love the
but-
second one. I haven't seen the third one.
The third one is my favorite of all three of them, and Woody Harrelson is fantastic in it. It's so
Love
good.
Woody Harrelson.
And I don't want to sound like I read too much into it, but the entire movie sounds like it, or feels like it's like trying to get you to realize that Alzheimer's is so fucking scary. If you watch it, tell me if I'm wrong, but it felt that the entire time I was watching it. It was crazy.
Well, that was a big thing in the first one. The first one was like he was trying
Right.
to cure Alzheimer's because his father.
I thought they would like lose that because in the second one I didn't really see anything like that
Yeah, they didn't.
going on, and in the third one they drove it home hard. Then
I mean, it is a terrifying illness.
it's fucking scary.
So yeah, so they're rebooting it, but they're rebooting it based on either the original series of films or even maybe the books, and like kind of rebooting it from the original series of films. A new Planet of the Apes movie is in the works at Disney and Fox in what will be the first feature in the franchise since Disney acquired Fox earlier this year. And the studios tapped Wes Ball, the director of The Maze Runner, to develop and direct the new film. The project is described as in early development stages, and it's not clear whether this will be a continuation of the trilogy that's recently concluded with Matt Reeves' 2017 War of the Planet of the Apes, or whether it's a full reboot or a separate standalone film. That's what this says. I read some other things that were basically alluding to the fact that it was like a full like page one reboot going back to the original movies.
Let's get a hologram Charlton Heston, hologram Montalban. Let's get him in this movie.
The name you only know
That's only because of you.
because of Planet Purgatory.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. This just sounds like Disney is really ramping it up because they spent a lot of money in the past 3 years.
A lot of
So,
money.
I mean, I don't think anybody needs this. I don't think anybody wants this.
There's
Mm,
definitely a lot of
Think
people who want
again.
this.
You want this?
Julie's
Yes.
here for it.
Okay.
I love anything that's more of like something kind of animal-y. It's like Jurassic Park, super about
Really?
like a million Jurassic Parks, and I'd be like, sure, I'll
Oh
see it.
wow.
Yeah.
I would like to see like more, just constantly more of the world getting taken over, like a game of Risk.
Also, that it's the
good.
kind of the whole chaos thing.
Yeah, I like that, you're
Super into it.
Okay.
I mean, aside from that, there's just a rabid fan base for the Planet of the Apes. Like
Yeah,
those,
I'm part of it.
those movies are the original movies.
Yeah.
It's a science fiction cult classic with a huge
That's so
fan
odd
base.
to me. But I mean, if people want it, then give it to
I mean, they're
them.
great movies.
Also, the idea of communicating with animals is like definitely something that a lot of people like. That's something that a lot of people really want, like animal people.
So you like what was Eddie Murphy's The Clumps?
Dr. Doolittle.
Dr. Doolittle?
The clumps.
So what if they like remade The Clumps?
No,
Dang
Yeah.
it, Dr.
Um,
Doolittle.
They are remaking Dr.
They are?
Doolittle.
Not the
We watched the trailer.
Not that one. Not that. I don't count that one. But I'm talking about like the exact same movie.
Oh.
not like that.
Oh, okay.
But if you like chaos, they're making a live action Cthulhu movie or a
I don't know what
Cthulhu
that is.
series. That guy in your pocket,
Oh,
that's Cthulhu.
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 Perfect.
He is a Shoggoth old one of eldritch horror from another dimension.
Boy, here we go.
Oh,
It's like-
yeah. I think I would need more background info.
Nobody,
On that.
you don't-
I highly-
nobody has heard or read any H.P. Lovecraft.
No.
Oh,
Philistines.
HB.
H.P.
Oh.
HP. Yeah, Hewlett Packard Lovecraft.
No, I don't think so.
Well, he was very racist. So
Oh,
Yeah,
was he?
well, that's why. He
damn.
probably made Mr. Popo.
Damn.
Ace Ventura 3 is in the works. Jim Carrey may return.
About it.
As who?
Morgan Creek Productions produced and released the first two films in collaboration with Warner Brothers, and the same production houses are said to be discussing the possibility of doing a second sequel, while Carrey himself has reportedly expressed interest in reprising the character for a third time. While the Hollywood star's participation in the franchise ended with a sequel, When Nature Calls, got some racism going on in that one of its own.
yeah.
The fictional
Ooh, I
character
remember
tried to chug along. We'll talk about it in a second. But the fictional character tried to chug along without him. First with the animated TV show, which lasted 3 seasons, and then a direct-to-video sequel featuring his son. That movie with his son is fucking terrible. First 2 movies, loved them when I was a kid. Jim Carrey was a hero. It was him and Bill Clinton. Those were my 2 heroes. I don't know.
Interesting.
Okay.
Must-
Let's unpack that.
I read both of their biographies.
Are they still your 2 top heroes?
No, definitely not.
Bill Clinton still though.
Definitely not.
Okay.
That first movie, super transphobic.
Oh yeah,
That second movie,
100%.
Absolutely.
super racist.
Yeah.
Super racist.
Are you talking about Ace Ventura?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't remember it. Is
I don't really either.
The first movie,
Yeah.
the central,
that the one Dan Marino's in?
yes,
Yeah.
the main
It's our guy though.
the main plot line of the movie is that they're trying to find this guy who was a football player, who was like a disgraced football player who like lost his team this game and everybody hates him, and he like kidnaps a dolphin,
Mm.
and they're
Because
trying
he
to
was
find
on
the
the
No, he
Dolphins.
kidnaps the Miami
yeah,
Dolphins.
he kills the Miami Dolphin. Then he has this police captain, who's played by Sean Young, who's a woman. And then in the end of the movie, it's revealed that Sean Young's character, the police captain, is the football player who has had a sex change.
Hmm.
And there's this whole thing when he discovers it because they kiss, and then he discovers
Yeah.
that. And then there's a montage of him like dumping toothpaste into his mouth and showering.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
vomiting.
And then in the end,
Oh.
he reveals to everybody that it's a guy and like pulls down her pants and you can see
Ooh.
her balls.
Yeah.
And then everybody on the police force is like, "Ugh." It's like real bad.
It's
Oh
way
my
bad.
god.
Yeah, they.
Yeah.
And then in the second one, there's the whole he like goes to like an African tribe.
Yeah.
And they're like Bumblebee Shuna, and he's like, oh, Bumblebee Tuna. It's like making fun of African
Yeah.
culture, basically.
So what will they do for the third?
But they had him coming out of a rhino's butt, so
So,
it's all okay.
What years were those released?
Ace Ventura was 92 or 3.
In the third one, he's just gonna go fuck Chinese
Oh,
people.
God.
And then
No,
the
you
second
know it's
one
all
was like
about
95.
Mexicans right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Him and what's his name again? That guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That guy. Yeah, you that guy.
You know who I'm talking about.
Are
We
you
went to
talking
watch
about
this movie.
Stallone,
Rambo.
yeah.
Rambo.
Sylvester
Stallone.
Stallone.
Yeah.
Why were you not remembering Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah, that's confusing
So
to
he
me.
could do the
I don't
voice
know.
over and over
I was
again.
gonna say Robert De Niro, but
Mm.
Are you okay?
Kelby the other day.
Yeah.
Kelby the other day said, "Oh, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is Jewish."
had no clue.
Oh, the most Jewish name that has ever existed in the history of man is Jewish.
Had no clue.
Yeah.
Wait,
so-
we don't. Wait. We don't like Dan Marino. He's
That's your take?
I mean-
a legend.
He participates in the transphobia.
Yeah, but he's just a football player, and he.
I mean, we still
know,
accept Jim
1978,
Carrey,
baby.
so.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
He didn't write the movie, and it was a
Neither did
it was
Dan
a
Marino.
different
Thank you.
Time.
Yeah, Dan Marino. Like,
I mean,
you know, that's our guy.
Dan Marino sucks because he was on the Dolphins, but that's
What
the
are
only
you
thing against
talking
him.
about? Dan Marino is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Football.
You can't say
I don't know anything about football.
legendary, undefeated season. Dan Marino.
Literally, the only
still
thing
no
I know
Joe
about
Montana,
Dan Marino
boy.
is that he was in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
He's in the movie because he's the most legendary, aside now from Tom Brady, he's the most legendary football player in history.
What?
One of. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go look it up.
You added one of that makes a little more
Like,
sense, but like
The reason why Dolphin fans still exist, even though they haven't won a game in 20 years, is because of Dan Marino.
None of us are responding
I got
because
nothing.
none of us like football.
Yeah.
Next.
This isn't the podcast for that.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this is just
Do you
just
need to
another
take a
thing.
break?
Yes, I have to go smoke.
Yeah.
This is just another thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey might be coming back to it.
Crazy.
All right.
Let's talk about this real quick. Is Jim Carrey done?
No.
No.
okay.
What?
What?
I thought
He
he
has
was
happy.
He's
He's-
like back. He's like back.
Yeah, he's
He's
back.
back.
Oh, okay.
This is
Yeah.
just the beginning.
Mhm.
Okay.
He had like a period
You
where
could
he kind of
definitely
like
call it a
went
comeback.
insane for a while and became an
Mhm.
artist and did that weird documentary and
Yeah.
I need color.
was like an anti-vaxxer and he's back
What?
now.
He had a
Yeah.
Ah,
Showtime
didn't know
Jim Carrey's an
that.
anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is he still an
His-
anti-vaxxer?
His girlfriend,
Jenny
Jenny
McCarthy.
McCarthy,
Oh, that's his girlfriend?
is the one. Well, not anymore, but
Oh,
at the
okay,
time,
gotcha,
she is the one who created
that-
the
Right.
anti-vaxxer movement.
I didn't know they
Yeah.
were dating. That's crazy.
They were either dating or married or something like that.
Wow. That's
I don't remember.
insane.
I forget if they're married or dating, but either way, they were together when she created the anti-vaxxer movement.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That's true.
Jim Carrey did that really weird thing where he made that video
The
talking
number
about
23
how
is not that bad.
I saw. So
I
my
love the number
so my
23.
my birthday is on February 23rd. So every year it's like a thing. Well, actually, less and less a thing now because now the movie industry has changed a little bit. February is no longer as much of the dumping ground as it used to be. But back in the day,
Because of Kevin Hart.
Deadpool came out in February, which is one of the highest grossing.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, it's like the second highest grossing R-rated film of all time.
Yeah.
Back in the day, February was the month where they put all the shitty movies that are gonna fail.
Mhm.
It's like the graveyard.
Yep.
So every year I go see one of these movies. Not only was this movie out in February, but it came out on February 23rd, the number 23. So I saw that in theaters on my birthday.
Did you enjoy it?
No.
Okay.
You should have gotten an Oscar for that. All right.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that Jim Carrey did this weird video several years ago where he just creepily talked about how beautiful Emma Stone was, and
Oh, I
it was
saw
like
that.
it was like
I remember that.
Oh yeah.
it was eerie.
like he posted on YouTube and he was like, "What?" He just filmed himself with a little camera.
Yeah,
It was creepy. Yeah. It was
talking about
super
older guys
Yeah.
creeping on younger girls.
That was super
Mm.
toxic.
Guys, I think you ought to know
Nice segue.
that my girl Alanis announced a new tour and a new album.
That's ironic.
Don't you think?
Isn't it ironic?
I'm an idiot.
It's probably not ironic because most of the things in the song are not examples of irony.
Yep.
She has a tragic misunderstanding of the concept of irony.
She
That's-
knows that, and that makes it ironic.
That's
She
the
ain't
that's
write
the
that song.
apologist thing that fans try to say.
Oh, they do really?
Yeah,
That's
is that
funny.
she's ironically saying things that aren't ironic,
Ergo,
but it's-
irony.
but it's
Yeah.
total bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like that time that Jewel released a book of poetry and Kurt Loder called her out on using poor grammar during the interview.
Oh,
and
I
she-
remember that.
And she tried to pretend like it was on purpose. It's
Yeah.
like, no, it wasn't on purpose. Alanis Morissette has announced a 25th anniversary tour of Jagged Little Pill. So she's going to do the whole album with support from Liz Phair and Garbage, who both supported Morissette's 1998 tour. She also announced a new album, Such Pretty Forks in the Road, on May 1st. It's her first since 2012's Havoc and Bright Lights. So yeah, she's going on tour with my girl Liz. And my girl Shirley. You never heard of Garbage?
do you guys not know any of these?
Yeah, I didn't.
know
I
Alanis
didn't.
Morissette.
Do you know
I've
Liz
never heard of
Phair?
Garbage,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
You know, thank you,
You're-
Julia.
You're about to Kimmel me right now.
Do you know Garbage?
Don't do it.
See,
Familiar with the name
instead-
Garbage, yeah.
this is. I mean,
Oh wait. Like, what's their most famous?
I'm
song?
only happy when it
Garbage?
rains.
Oh, happy when it rains.
Okay, I do know Garbage. Then.
Stupid girl.
Yeah, that's toxic.
Thank you, Kelby.
Saying that.
No,
you
that's
have
Britney
no idea.
Spears. It's not Garbage.
Yeah.
Oh,
Get your
yeah.
songs right.
All right, well, are you guys
Gar-
going to go?
Garbage is a band that was started by a bunch of producers that were
It's like a super group.
yeah, it was a bunch of big producers who did a bunch of production in the early 90s of all the grunge bands. So they were the producers responsible for that grunge sound. And then they in the mid 90s they decided that they wanted to do something kind of like the opposite of that. They were tired of that dark, grungy, dreary early 90s sound, and they wanted to do something happy and positive. So they started Garbage, and they hired Shirley Manson to be the singer.
Now, are you guys going to go to the concert?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
All that music happened in my mid 20s, and it was kind of in the background as pop culture stuff because it's not the music that I necessarily respond to, but I like it enough. I won't go to this concert, but just hearing about it makes me feel nostalgic,
Oh.
just because
Mm.
it was part of my life.
Mm.
And I know the people. I don't even need to go because I know the people that are going to this concert.
Now,
no,
Yeah, I probably will go because I mean, I grew up with this music, and but more so, my wife loves Garbage.
Wait.
which is why we're married.
Aw, cute.
then I'm going with you.
Okay,
I'm not joking.
Oh, boy.
okay.
Now, it's just a quick response. Not a lot needed here. But
Hour later.
I see that you make like music that we always say is like 2005 and and before. Are you going to go to the Millennium Tour?
The Millennium Tour.
Fuck B2K.
Ah.
Wait, Millennium
Man.
isn't the Backstreet Boys?
Nah, Millennium with Omarion and Bow Wow.
I love that.
Oh my god.
Wait, they were getting
Icebox?
together?
Another one because they had one
it's
earlier
like a
this
recurring
year.
thing now. It's like a
Wait.
festival.
And then they're
of,
having
like,
a new one next year, and it's a stadium tour. I'm talking about Bow Wow, Omarion, Mario, Lloyd.
yeah, it's like mid
Yeah.
it's like mid 2000s.
Absolutely, I'm going
Can
to
they
that.
fill a stadium?
Absolutely,
They did the
can.
Millennium Tour. If it
Yes.
wasn't earlier this year, it was no, it was this year. Earlier this year,
Yes.
and I'm talking about sold out everywhere.
It's one of those-
I'm so excited.
I wouldn't
about
go
that now.
because I'm old, and I wouldn't. I would go if I could just see Omarion.
He's
Just
headlining this
Omarion?
time because
Yeah,
last
but I don't
time
wanna
it
see
was
anybody else.
B2K, and now it's gonna be Omarion.
Well, you could leave. You know.
Yeah, but then I paid for a ticket.
That's
then
If they
I-
come
how
to
much
the-
are tickets?
A lot.
probably like $60 maybe.
If they come to the Hollywood Bowl, I'll
I'm
definitely go.
definitely going.
I'll
Yeah.
go with you.
I'm
agree.
actually. Well, I'm.
Okay. I'm not.
I'm
No, no,
guar-
no,
I'm
this isn't a
guar-
bit.
This isn't a bit. I
I'm
do it.
guaranteeing that I'm
Yeah.
going to see at least one of these shows.
I'll go
That's what's
too.
up.
100%.
Who's paying?
The
Oh,
our-
work is
Morgan
paying.
is going to pay for
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah, we talk about
I went to the Hollywood Bowl for the Florence and the Machine show on her tour,
Hmm.
but I only went to see the opening act, which was Kamasi Washington, and then I left.
Damn,
That's a good concert.
Wow.
I don't know who that
I'd
is.
say for both.
So you-
Kamasi Washington?
I don't know.
He's a amazing jazz saxophonist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Dope.
So
In
you
the
don't-
experimental vein.
Very into that.
Good name for that too.
Are you anti-Florence or you just weren't interested?
I don't like Florence. I don't hate her, but I only went because
Yeah.
he was opening.
Okay.
It was just a way of going to see him. There's a Hellraiser series in development. Deadline has just announced that the classic Clive Barker horror property will be adapted as a television show. They're reporting that producers Roy Lee of It, the new one, and Dan Farah of Ready Player One, which was a fucking terrible movie, and I hated it.
The Spielberg one?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Have teamed up with rights holders Lawrence Kuppen, David Salzman, and Eric Garden in an attempt to make the franchise the next big thing in horror TV. The series began in Clive Barker's disturbing 1986 novella, The Hellbound Heart, which tells the tale of Frank Cotton, a hedonist seeking the ultimate erotic experience. To this end, he tracks down a puzzle box known as the Lamartian configuration. Solving this puzzle will apparently open a portal to a dimension populated by creatures who can deliver the ultimate sensual experience. Unfortunately for Cotton, though, what lies on the other side are the Cenobites, sexless monsters who describe themselves as explorers in the further regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to others. Right now, we have no word on what Barker's involvement will be, but it's reported that this new adaptation will develop the mythology established in the movies to tell a new set of stories. This could mean an anthology show centered around various unfortunate mortals fatally tangling with the Cenobites, or perhaps an ongoing narrative in which we follow a group of characters caught up in their machinations. Right now, the producers are searching for a showrunner and are hoping to pitch it to one of the major streaming networks.
Okay. Hellraiser, like,
Yeah, the
Pinhead.
Pinhead.
Yeah.
Now, I've watched the first one, and I remember going, "This is a really good movie," and I don't normally like horror. What was there a quote unquote sensual element to the first? I don't remember that at all.
No,
I hear that a
it
lot,
kind
though.
of gets downplayed a little bit in the movie. In the book, The Hellbound Heart, which is it's only 50 pages long. It's a good book, but it's very short.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's basically as it describes. It's this person who's obsessed with what he's wanting to like experience the ultimate sexual experience, and he's done everything, he's tried everything, he's bored and he wants something, and he discovers this box, or he hears this legend of this box, so he tracks it down, but then he opens up this portal. The Cenobites basically it's about their sexual thrill from torturing people.
Oh, okay.
And then the brother of this guy moves into the house that he lived in after he disappears with his wife, and then he starts appearing to the wife, and he's trying to convince her to help him get out of the dimension, but in reality he's just trying to trick her into taking his place, and she falls in love with the brother, and then they conspire to kill her husband, who's his brother, and that's what the movie's about. But they downplay a little bit the fact that the sexual erotic nature of it.
Because I don't remember any of that.
Who plays that main character?
Pinhead?
Some guy, nobody specific.
Are you sure it's not the person who plays Candyman?
No, Tony Todd. No, it's not a black guy.
Oh, okay.
In horror circles, I'm sure his name is very well known, but he's just that guy. He's like Robert Englund or Tony Todd. It's just the guy who plays Candyman or the guy who plays Freddy Krueger.
Sucks.
Yeah, I would love to see this, especially if they're talking about going to the major streaming networks. I would love to see this on Shudder if it was done in a similar way to Creepshow. An anthology series where every episode is about a different person who finds the box and has some kind of run-in with the Cenobites. I would love that. I fucking love Hellraiser. One of my favorite.
It's
horror
good.
movies.
I remember being creeped out by it, and that's what a horror movie should do.
Yeah.
And then there's like a million sequels, and they range in quality from terrible to okay. Disney Plus announced this is the weirdest story.
Okay.
Disney Plus has announced that they're making a Star Wars game show hosted by the voice actor of Jar Jar Binks.
That's kind of a cool idea.
I'm for this.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
You're for this?
I don't know why. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
I
I think
I
so,
don't.
too.
I know, Todd. I know. I don't like Star Wars. Don't like Baby Yoda still, but I'm here
But
for
you
this.
want to see a game show hosted by Jar Jar Binks?
I think
Yeah.
it's clever.
I think that's a really
Clever.
Yeah.
That's a
Oh.
great idea.
What's the game show?
What's clever about it?
I think that's
Is it a
really,
Star Wars
really
trivia
good
game
idea.
show?
You guys are just being trolls.
No,
right
no,
now.
no, no,
No,
no.
absolutely
Shelby
not.
definitely is.
No.
I'm not.
Hard
I'm so
truth.
serious.
You are
Hard truth.
openly trolling.
I am not. I'm so serious. As you read it, I was just like, oh,
Out of all these fucking things,
it
the
sounds-
thing that
it
you
sounds
want
fun.
is
Yeah.
a Star Wars game show
I don't-
hosted by Jar Jar Binks.
No, don't want it. Don't want
Need
it.
it.
Think it's a good idea.
yeah.
How is it a good idea? Explain this to
it's
me.
very
Okay,
unique and
so,
kinda like cool, charming.
Kelby
I'm
just
I'm
nailed it
putting
for
my
me.
microphone away and I'm not talking until you justify this.
Go ahead.
I
I'm
would-
not gonna say anything. When it's my turn, I'll talk. You go.
Okay.
It's okay, literally.
Okay. Here's
back
not
in
knowing what the game show is.
Uh.
I like the idea of Disney Plus having a game show. Number one, I think that's a great idea. Why not use it for Star Wars? Because that's what a lot of stuff that's going to be on Disney Plus. That's what people will go to for Disney Plus. That's what they love. And I think it can be fun. And especially if it's kind of like a Star Wars trivia game where you pit people against each other, like 3 different Andrews going against each other about who knows the most about Star Wars. And Jar Jar Binks, I know that he's kind of hated. I don't know enough about that character. I don't care enough about it. It could be hosted by anyone. But I think it's just a fun, interesting idea, a different type of content for Disney, and something that the whole family can watch. I have spoken.
Is he
Kelby's turn.
is he Jar Jar?
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Is he
That-
Jar
that
Jar
is
Binks
good.
in the?
No,
the-
he's just
played by
he's
the guy.
voice
Okay.
actor.
Oh, then I like that even more then. Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
okay.
Name is-
I thought he was gonna be dressed as Jar Jar Binks.
His name is Ahmed Best.
Okay, then I'm for it. I'm even more
Yes.
for it.
It's been tapped to host a Disney Plus game show called Star Wars Jedi Temple Challenge, set to debut on the streaming service in 2020. Yeah, that's what he looks like.
Good guy.
The show sounds something like
That's
Legend.
him? This dude's like a model.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
great looking.
I don't know why they wouldn't want his face.
The show sounds like something
sound like a
something like
hater.
the Legends of the Hidden Temple, but for Jedis. Variety describes it as a competition in which young contestants will demonstrate their skills in the 3 core Jedi principles: strength, knowledge, and bravery.
Oh, I like this even better than
This
mine.
is getting
yeah,
better
This
and
is
better.
way
yeah.
better than my idea.
I-
It's freaking awesome.
This sounds
guys
so
are-
cool.
It's like
Wait,
Wipeout,
did you
but
like
with Star Wars.
Did you
Yeah.
like the Legend of the Hidden
It's not
Temple?
about that. It's not about whether this sounds bad or not.
Uh.
I don't think it sounds bad, and it does sound like Legend of the Hidden Temple, and I think it could be cool. It's about the fact that 11 episodes.
Oh, of you hating on Star Wars.
You, number one, never know about anything that we talk about. You're always like, I've never heard of bread. I have to explain
great
to
band.
you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for telling me.
baby, I'ma want you.
Baby, I'm gonna need you.
Never heard of him.
I have to explain to you why kids like micro machines. You hate the idea of everything.
Yep.
And then you're trolling.
I'm
You
not.
definitely are.
How you
I
gonna
believe
tell me
you.
what
I
I
believe
legit-
you.
I legit
believe
think
you.
this is a good idea.
I actually think it's a dope idea.
And it blows my mind. Kelby is lying.
Or
You are serious.
we all contain multitudes.
yeah, I'm an onion, brother.
Yeah, an onion that you stick in the microwave and it releases gases, and those gases are lies.
Wow.
I don't
Julia,
see- so you
what do you
expect me-
feel? Do you feel
Yeah.
like we are being honest?
Oh yeah.
Kirk is honest.
Absolutely.
No,
Kirk is honest.
that doesn't sound
He's lying.
honest.
She's lying. You guys are fake people.
I've never lied.
Julia does not lie.
You guys are fake.
You're gonna accuse everybody in here of
I
lying.
literally coached you on lying.
I know, but I've never taken any more lessons, so I'm still a truth teller.
Do you
The
find
world
this,
is your teacher
Do you find
now.
this a good idea?
Yeah.
See?
Okay.
I mean, I'm not the audience, but
No.
okay, so I am confused. Why is it young contestants in particular?
Because it's like Legends of the Hidden Temple.
yeah,
You wouldn't want adults. Well, you want to see adults being like, yes, the Battle of Hoth. Like, no, you want
Well, I don't know.
kids. Star Wars is for
I
kids.
didn't even really recognize that it was kids. That's an even cooler idea.
It's
Yeah.
it's a great idea.
Yeah, that's a really
It's
like
a really
It
good
wouldn't be
idea.
adult.
That's a very bankable
Star
idea.
Wars is for children.
But can I say this?
Yeah, but adults.
But adults
watch it.
love
Like,
Star
come
Wars.
on.
But the
Yeah.
but,
Now you're
yeah, but
doing
the
it the
but the
most.
entity of Star Wars / Lucasfilm / Disney does not want to canonize that. They want it to be for kids.
It's not though. It's like for kids, but adults.
no,
watch
but
it.
but it totally is though. It totally is for kids.
But Kelby
there
likes
are
this
there
idea.
are a huge
I know why. you
fan
like it.
base of adults that like it because it's from their childhood or whatever. But the vast majority of people who watch Star Wars are children.
Whatever you say. Look, I don't watch Star Wars, but
Kelby.
Adult
Yeah.
Star Wars fans are a vocal minority.
Oh, interesting. I didn't think of that.
Okay.
Kelby likes this because it's got potential for success. And Kelby likes potential for success.
Mhm.
yeah,
Thank
Kelby
you.
likes
AKA
money.
The
Hey,
Mandalorian is the most successful streaming show of all time.
Is it?
Yes,
Oh,
we
shit.
talked about that
And
in
he-
last
and he
episode.
appreciates
I mean,
that.
I guess that does mean okay. You're right. I'm sorry.
So is The Mandalorian also for kids? Don't adults watch that?
Ooh,
Didn't you
good
all watch
question.
lawyered.
Yes, no, she wasn't. That's not lawyered. It is. It is for kids. It's
that?
for.
Don't
It's,
discount my law degree.
it's for. It's for like 13-year-olds. But
But y'all
adult-
watched it and reviewed it.
exactly
Yeah,
because
sicko.
we are man babies. Like, or I am a man baby. These guys would never have watched it if I hadn't asked them to watch it.
Not with that baby Yoda.
Yeah. That baby Yoda. I don't know.
Adults who watch Star Wars are man children who are glomming onto their childhoods because they're unhappy with the way things are now.
This man does not know how to appeal to his. Own
I
audience.
got Todd. Todd at first was like,
Todd's not
eh,
hating that.
but then when I said that, he was like, Yo.
I thought Todd was going to say no, but now it looks like he's saying
He was
yes.
like,
Yeah,
"You
he's
got
on
me.
board.
You got my number."
Look,
Okay, but Baby Yoda is that whole meme thing. The meme of Baby Yoda. That's targeting. Isn't that a Disney scheme to like get an audience, like kind of a viral audience for that?
No, they could have never anticipated that Baby Yoda was going to
I
become
don't
a
know.
huge.
Oh, come
I gotta-
on.
come
That
on.
that's
All right.
they
Okay.
absolutely knew he
First
was
of all,
going to
they
be a
did
huge
because
meme.
they held off on
Yeah.
on the merchandise.
Uh-huh.
No, they
You-
held off on the merchandise because it would have been a spoiler for episode
Right.
1.
Exactly. And,
Right.
But they knew because it would have been such a huge spoiler because he is
Yeah,
such a
she's
draw.
right. Yeah.
No, they held off on the merchandise because if they had revealed that there was a Baby Yoda, it would have spoiled the last the end of the first episode, which would have ruined the show, which would
Right.
have ruined the.
Well,
That would be like if you released like in episode 1, season 1 of Game of Thrones, you released a figure of Sean Bean with his head disintegrated off from like it would have been a spoiler for something later on in the show.
Yeah, all right.
What do you mean now? Right, that's exactly
Not really. I'm pretty sure. You got to remember, like, as a not Star Wars fan, few things I know. Yoda, Luke's father.
What point are you making?
I'm saying
Again, who
that
is Luke's father?
Luke's dad. So the
Number
point I'm
one,
making is that
not a
Yoda
thing
is
that you
one
know.
of listen.
Number 2,
Listen.
this means
One of the most iconic things from Star Wars is Yoda. So you can't tell me we had no clue that the most famous part of the show is not going to make an impact.
Yeah.
You don't believe that.
First of all, it's not Yoda. That's just a thing people say. It's not Yoda. Yoda
we don't know his species. Blah,
Yoda
blah,
is
blah.
dead. It's a different
Spoiler
So
alert.
we
I never
think.
watched that one.
Return of the Jedi came out in 1988.
3? Return of the Jedi?
No, never mind.
You're
I'm thinking of
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Indiana
Tango
Jones.
and Cash.
Indiana Jones.
Either way, I like that.
Uh,
I like the idea.
Yeah, I think
like the idea.
I'm here for the idea.
But yes, Star Wars is for children. So
Oh,
they would
okay.
not have adults on the game show because that would be strange.
I bet you if it gets successful, they'll do families.
I bet they
Heck
will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I-
Have Steve
I am-
Harvey host.
They
it.
will never they might do families, but they will never do
Just
straight up adults.
like
Maybe they'll do
Star
like
Wars
Jeopardy.
nerd.
They'll have
I would
an
agree with
adult
that.
day.
I would agree with what Andrew's saying on that.
So who's the audience for that?
Adults.
Kids.
Families.
Kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, families.
Families.
Okay.
Show.
Like Family Feud.
The way that it sounds,
Yeah.
it might go towards like Slime Time.
So, yeah, I know
Double
what you're
Dare,
talking
Double
about. Yeah, I know
Dare,
what you're
Double
talking
Dare
about.
2000 or Double Dare. I feel like that kind of.
I mean,
format would work
it
for
sounds
this kind of idea.
It sounds exactly like Legends of the Hidden Temple. That's a way better comparison.
Oh, man, I don't know what that is, but
Um,
I know
you-
what Double
you don't-
Dare
oh my
is.
god!
I mean,
you
even I
do know what
that
Double Dare is, right?
I do know.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
I
what.
know, yeah.
Okay,
Nah,
but
he's saying it's a much better one. I don't know.
no, it is. He's right. It's.
Yeah, so they're doing this, and you know it's the reason why. So the whole thing with Jar Jar Binks is
Oh gosh.
That he was the ultimate Sith Lord,
Ev-
and
no,
Todd
that
is
is
like our
running
Jar
things
Jar
from behind the
Binks.
scenes.
that is total.
Todd is like our Jar Jar Binks.
No, that's the worst thing you could say. Everybody hates Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, I meant it in like
Misa don't hate Jar Jar.
'cause if they saw Todd, they'd
Don't
be like,
say
"Why are
that
they
either."
hiding him behind the scenes?"
That's true.
Is
and
what I
he's so
mean by
gorgeous.
that. Like how our reaction, we were like, "Oh, this guy, like why did they hide him?" Like,
Oh,
he
you
should
you
be-
mean the actor? He's just
right? Yeah.
Yes, everybody
Oh,
who's not
yeah,
who
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
get the chance to see it, Todd
That
is
makes sense.
gorgeous.
I
Yes.
didn't. I'm hiding Todd behind the scenes because when we started the podcast, he wasn't around. I didn't
Oh.
know there was an option, so we did the podcast. I was like, "All right, I guess
right.
these people, even though they don't know what micro machines are,
Who freaking cares about these micro
on,
machines?
that's what the
Somebody needs to
podcast is.
Who cares?
it's a
we're not
nostalgia
we're not gonna
podcast.
know all the stuff you're talking about. I know Hot Wheels.
I know.
Oh, I know Hot Wheels too. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
we just-
Hot Wheels
man's
are
talking
good.
about.
Don't
You
get-
don't
don't
know
get
the thing
started
that
on
went out
Hot
of
Wheels.
business.
That's what this podcast is talking about. Things that went out of
cares?
business.
Hey, remember when people got mad at Billie Eilish?
Yeah.
You are getting mad at Kelby for the same reason.
Yeah.
Billie Eilish
Ooh,
wasn't going
true.
onto a nostalgia podcast.
Okay, but she went on to a talk show.
Yeah.
You know,
Damn.
similar.
To
You don't have to.
That's not the
That
same.
knowing
guy's
about
so
Van
loud.
Halen
We're
is not a
here to talk,
prerequisite
too.
for going on a talk show.
Oh,
You're
man.
here to talk about nostalgia.
All right,
I'm sorry
Let's
if
continue.
Andrew hurt you.
I'm unhurtable, baby.
Yeah, that's right. That's why we're friends.
the thing about Jar Jar Binks is that
Oh.
everybody hated him. He was the most hated character in the entire franchise, which was hard to do because everybody hated the Ewoks so much. And then he trumped the Ewoks. And also, he was the most hated character in a movie filled with hateable characters.
Yeah.
Everybody in episode 1 was a hateable character. He was so hated that, number one, that actor never really got work again. Also, he got harassed by fans who were like, fuck you, Jar Jar Binks is a piece of shit. He was like literally suicidal for a while because he was so harassed and hated. And also, Jar Jar Binks is a racist stereotype of black people. His voice is the voice of like a house slave. And it's been notoriously criticized for being this like racially insensitive caricature of like a slave voice.
So what you're saying is that the show's gonna start with him coming out. What it is there, y'all?
No, do Jar Jar. You like doing black voices.
How dare you? I like doing all racially insensitive voices. Thank you.
All right. What's the next story, Drew?
No, yeah.
Tell me.
All right, I had a segue, but I shouldn't say it. So there's a Moesha reboot in the works.
Oh no! Yeah!
God, you gotta cut that out.
Yes, a Moesha reboot. Is Fredo Starr dead? No,
It didn't say anything about that in this press release.
Oh, that's awesome. Ooh, she gonna be writing in her little diary. That's hot. Ooh, yeah.
Brandy.
Yes.
We like Brandy.
Yes. We
Some of
like
the-
Brandy.
Some of the stars of the 90s hit sitcom Moesha confirmed that a reboot is on the way. Brandy, who played Moesha, along with Cheryl Lee Ralph and William Allen Young, who played her stepmother Dee and her father respectively, or her father Frank respectively, confirmed the news during a brief reunion at Cheryl Lee Ralph's Diva Foundation event earlier this week. So yeah, they're coming back with a reboot. I never
Fredo Starr's still alive, and he's 48.
And he's 48.
I watched a couple episodes of Moesha, but I was more about Taina.
Taina's cool too.
Taina.
They
I
both
love
cool.
Taina,
I'm supportive of it, but I mean, just the guy that played Miles, young man, this is great news.
Yeah.
It made your day.
Yes.
what
I
network
was thinking
was
about that
Moesha
like
on?
2 months ago.
Wasn't that UP?
Probably UPN.
That's
Yeah.
what's like, because
Yeah,
if it came across
WB
UPN,
or something.
I was watching it.
Yeah,
Should we
that's
write
where I
that
saw
down?
it because I would have UPN and I'm watching the Wayans brothers.
But Taina was a Disney Channel, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay.
No,
No, it was
Taina was
Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon. I'm sorry, Nickelodeon.
Yo,
yeah.
Brandy's gonna be writing on Instagram now.
What if she has an album?
Oh,
Or maybe
it's a
on
vlog. It's a
Twitter.
vlog.
Yeah,
She's
'cause
definitely doing a vlog.
ain't nobody writing in a notebook. These
Welcome back to
days.
Moesha, brought to you by Raycon.
That would be so sick. Oh, yes.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
I don't know where, but this new company sent me these.
Yeah.
These headphones.
That's. Oh, I want to write on this show.
They're only $80, and I've
They're-
heard that Snoop Dogg likes them.
The show would get instantly canceled.
If they said that,
Yeah, they're only $80. Do you know who's watching Moesha? People who don't have $80.
but it's so cheap compared to other wireless Bluetooth headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a Cartoon Network hotel officially opening in the summer of 2020.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Really good idea.
It's in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
What's the significance
transfer.
of that place in Pennsylvania? Is that where they started Cartoon Network?
No, the reason for it is the reason why you hear about these weird little things opening up in Middle America is because in Middle America, or I mean, Pennsylvania isn't really Middle America, but it is
East Coast.
Middle America-ish.
Yeah.
They're bored and have nothing to do, so
They
they
have money.
they open a lot of weird stuff. Like that's why the Midwest is the theme park capital of the world. If you go to like the Wisconsin Dells and you have like Noah's Ark and all these crazy water parks and stuff like that, like Middle America loves theme parks and weird attractions because they have nothing.
Here in
They
California.
have nothing else to do.
No, if this was in California, it would be a pop up, and it would only
Yeah.
last for like a week.
Yeah.
And then you'd never get the chance to do it.
Where's
But you could-
Legoland?
It's
San Diego.
The Cartoon Network Hotel, located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, right next to Dutch Wonderland, is now accepting bookings for its June 2020 opening.
Oh, that's so cool.
The resort is just as over the top as you might expect from the people that brought you the Powerpuff Girls, Adventure Time, Johnny Bravo, and more. From the moment you enter the lobby, you'll realize this is unlike any place your family has stayed before, the hotel explains on its site. With our character-themed guest rooms and dream suites, it's like having a sleepover in a cartoon. The 9-acre property, Lancaster Online reported, takes over the old Continental Inn, which was purchased in 2018 for $4.7 million. The Cartoon Network Hotel was slated to open last summer, but hit a few snags along the way. The hotel will feature 165 rooms, an indoor pool, an outdoor water park, a play area, a game room, a cafe where guests can dine with characters, a Cartoon Network store, and more.
Oh.
Now, you're not surprised that I like this?
What do you mean?
I like this.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I can't like Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, I love how you said that. Oh, you put so much sauce on
That's
that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, bucko.
That's that
I
French
just don't-
Canadian in you.
That's
I don't
right.
understand why.
French kid.
I don't understand why either of you would care about a trivia game about a thing that you don't care about.
Because I like the
it just
idea.
sounds cool. It sounds very profitable, too.
See the money. That's what.
There's no profit from. You don't profit from streaming. You just it's
Okay, I guess they're all doing it for free.
no. It's just it's you drive subscribers.
and
and
it's
the
gonna
way that you-
drive us right there.
And
with
the way
that
that you
TV
drive
show.
subscribers is by just continually putting out original content.
Yeah, this is good
Right.
original content.
I think this is gonna
How
pique
did we get
people's
back to-
interest.
Yeah.
I'm so
Anyways.
when we get off the podcast, when that record button stops, you are gonna reveal to me that you were just fucking around and trying to cause conflict.
False.
And you are going to say that.
All right.
And I'm going to record you with my app that I have that's always secretly recording
All right. Sure.
so that people can't gaslight me.
All right. Well, Cartoon Network Hotel, that sounds awesome.
It
I would
does.
love to go to it. And I think they chose a good place. It's not Orlando. It's not Southern California. Pennsylvania. They got something over there. Is it Hershey?
There's Hershey, Pennsylvania. Which, yeah, so
yeah,
there's like a
because-
whole thing there.
Yeah, so it's kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, I like that. It's a good idea. And imagine like being an adult in a like kids fantasy place and it's cool for the whole family. I like that. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
very
If we're ever in
successful.
Lancaster, Pennsylvania,
I think it's
I'll stay there.
I think it's
And I'll
definitely
go to Dutch Wonderland afterwards.
Dutch Wonderland. I think it's a play to make more of an amusement park. I think they're going to start with this hotel and they're going to try to turn it into a Disney thing.
That's what's up.
Sort of the last thing to talk about. Last episode, I believe. This will start to happen more and more, but this is the first time that we talked about news of an announcement of something, and now we've actually gotten to see it.
Yeah.
So last episode we talked about the fact that the creators who do the Toys That Made Us, a documentary series on Netflix about the creation of classic toy lines, was coming out with a new show called The Movies That Made Us, where they focus on the sort of background, behind the scenes story of a different movie being made each episode. And that premiered on Netflix, and we all watched the Home Alone episode. So, what'd you guys think?
I cried a little.
Did you really?
Cried a
Mhm.
little?
Really?
Yeah.
Because Home Alone means so much to you?
The part where John Hughes dies.
The
Mm,
very
Spoilers.
end of
yeah.
the last minute of it.
Yeah. That part.
That's really interesting to me because
Wait, did you not know John Hughes is dead?
No, I mean, obviously I know he's dead,
okay.
but
Yeah.
just sort of.
You don't have to find something out new
Well, no,
for the
I know,
first
I
time
just-
to
yeah.
be emotional.
Well,
about
it was
sure.
they were talking about him, and they never got emotional. I kind of expected they would get emotional talking about him, but they just barely didn't, and for some reason that made me emotional.
Like they were trying to be
Does-
strong.
You're
Like
feeling
I
their
filled in
feelings
the
for
emotion
it,
for
yeah,
them.
for them.
Yeah.
this is I guess this would be a question for everyone, but just because Julia kind of brought it up. I'm wondering if John Hughes means something different to you guys than it means something to me. Because to me, John Hughes will always be Pretty in Pink,
Yeah.
Breakfast Club, Some Kind of Wonderful, teen movies that came out when I was a teen. That
I think
was
that's what
just
he.
Yeah.
huge.
I think that's what he is to everybody.
So it's not.
I think people are surprised to find out that he wrote Home Alone. Like a lot
Oh,
of the time.
interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, that's John Hughes for me at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
60.
I wasn't sure just of the age difference. Like you're like, no, it starts with Home Alone, and that's my whole thing. And yes, it does.
I'll say that his name, like I knew his name,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know.
Okay.
Like I know the movies, and I never thought like, oh, who wrote that or who directed it. I just watched them,
Okay.
and then when they started talking to him about him, I was like, oh, this is the name they used to talk about in school. But I guess
Yeah.
So he means that to me.
Okay.
To what you think. Yeah.
That's nice to hear.
John Hughes created the 80s.
Oh yeah.
He
Yeah.
was the 80s. If Doug Kenny was the 70s,
Yeah, that's true.
John Hughes was the 80s.
100.
All those movies that we just mentioned, I would argue that if you think about what the 80s is in your mind, especially if you didn't actually grow up in the 80s and just it's a concept to you, he created that aesthetic.
I would not disagree with that.
I completely enjoyed the show. I thought it was fantastic. It had me smiling at the screen, looking doofy. It had me emotional in certain parts. And me personally, I like to hear the behind the scenes story because that's a whole different movie to me. And as I was telling you yesterday, just hearing about how he's just like, hey, I wrote a script, that then he walks into the studio and they're like, all right, how much money? It was just like,
Yeah.
you know, compared to other people's story who, yeah, we wrote a script and then 10 years later it finally got made and all these. It almost felt like he and his movies were just larger than the business because it was just so simple to just sit there and write a script in 2 days and then you know. And I know the name Chris Columbus from Harry Potter, so knowing that he made this, either I forgot it or whatever, I'm just being reintroduced to it. But I love the fact that almost everybody on the project was kind of green, you know, like the way they explained it.
The crew.
Yeah, you know, they're like, oh, he did this, but he was the B-roll DP and just all that stuff. It just is it's a testament to unfound talent in history. I mean, in the business and in LA, and the fact that sometimes people who you may not have a lot of faith in are going to be the ones that put on the show that lasts forever, the one that lasts generations and whatnot. So I really enjoyed it. I mean, it put me in all the right places, and just to find out that they shot the movie in a gym, like they used the gym at a house, like that's just so cool. You know, it's just magic, you know, Hollywood magic. And it's still magic.
What would have been a good drinking game was drink every time they mentioned that Heartbreak Hotel was a bust. They mentioned that so many times.
Yeah. That I remember. I never saw Heartbreak Hotel, but I remember it coming out and it was trash. It was just like, what? Especially because the stars in it, you're like, who? It was David Keith and then this guy named Charlie Schechter, who they were trying to make the next Matthew Broderick, and it just it's a huge dumb movie. It's way bad. So it is funny when you bring that up that they mentioned it so many times.
Well, the narrator is kind of goofy too. The whole style of the documentary surprised me, in that the narrator was a little like, "Hi everybody, like this is the Home Alone documentary." It was a little more. It was goofier than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be a little more serious and sentimental. Not saying that I didn't like it, but it was definitely a surprise that it was goofy.
You thought it was going to be like a more straightforward documentary.
Yeah.
style.
Well,
we talked about this on the
That's what we
we
wanted.
did another episode where we reviewed an episode of The Toys That Made Us, which is the same series, it's the same company, it's done in the same way. Kirk and I hate that style, and everybody else likes it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But I hate it.
Well, it was probably to engage the kid audience, right? Because it's the toys that made us. Do you think?
No, I mean the show, unlike Star Wars, the show is kind of for adults. It's made for like adult man babies who love toys.
Well, the style really didn't feel that way. I didn't feel like when the narrator was talking in that kind of odd voice, I didn't feel like I was being talked to as an adult. I feel like I was being regressed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that kids typically are super interested in like the behind the scenes stories of movies and things like that.
That's true.
It's definitely made for adults, but I really don't. I love the show because of the information and insight it delivers, but I really hate the execution of it.
It was crazy to me to see that Siskel and Ebert gave it a single star, and they hated it basically.
I mean, that happens all the time.
I know, but
that's why when people these days are like, oh, like the new Star Wars movie sucks or whatever. It's like, yeah, people thought the original Star Wars movie sucked.
Yeah,
like Empire Strikes Back got terrible reviews, and it's regarded as the best Star Wars movie. Wow. Like you're just being nostalgic.
Another thing that I really liked was the stuntmen.
Oh yeah, that was really interesting.
That was so cool.
Nuts.
I really like that they gave them a lot of time to talk to, like really showcase them as like the backbone of this entire movie.
Yeah, they really gave them some love.
Yeah,
that was cool.
And just seeing them, there's some falls that you still like kind of.
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And the fact that they're really falling on the floor, on stairs, things like
on
that.
Toy cars,
right? It takes me back to like doing stage combat in college. And those hits be real, and that's why we don't do it no more.
That's right. My two favorite bits of information that I didn't know, which were just little quick nuggets, were one, the whole thing of like Warner Brothers salad milkies.
No,
I can't believe I said that.
Yep.
Did you say salad?
You can't bring that up in mixed company.
Yeah.
I cannot. The fact that originally Warner Brothers was like, we're not paying an extra 1.5.
Yeah,
million.
that
Like,
was wild.
That's
And
nuts.
Gotta
then
be
I
thinking
guess it was Universal. They're like, yeah, we will.
Or
Fox.
Fox.
Fox,
Fox,
yeah, Fox.
thank you, Fox.
That's
And
that's
it's
why
like,
that's why
what I
Home
paid
Alone is
for
on
this.
Disney Plus.
Oh God, that's right. Oh,
Yeah.
So obviously Warner's doing fine, but I just wonder every now and then if Warner's like, God damn it, the whole company's like, we could have had this huge fucking blockbuster
Yeah.
in perpetuity because of 1.5 million.
I mean, somebody probably got fired.
You would think, because that's a
People
huge
get
mistake.
fired about those things all the time.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Can I ask you guys this question? Which do you like more, Home Alone 1 or Home Alone 2?
Home Alone 1.
Home Alone 1.
100%. It's
Home
not
Alone
even a
2.
contest.
Todd
It's not even a
jumped
contest.
off his.
It's not even a
I'm-
contest.
I'm
Home Alone
one
2
of
is
those
is
weird
a
people.
Home Alone 2 is
The shit.
They're
nowhere
good.
on the same level.
Although I'll say this, I like Uncle Buck more than Home Alone. That just might be an age thing.
That's also
different. It's a different
That was my
type of thing.
Yeah, well, it's a family movie.
But it's not a movie where a kid fights two
Yeah, that's
burglars.
fair.
And
It's a
learns
whole
the
different
value
style.
of family.
That's fair. Fair enough. The other thing is the fascinating Daniel Stern was going to be in the movie, then didn't get in the movie, then got back in the movie.
Yeah.
That's way cool. I love
It-
information like that.
He like
really
even said
lucky.
like he almost let his pride
Yeah.
fuck him over. I was like, that would have been me.
That's-
I would have done the same exact thing.
I admire him too for going, yeah, I almost fucked up. Like he literally
Yeah.
admitted, like, I can't believe I almost fucked this whole
Yeah.
thing up. And
Yeah.
I thought that was really
Yeah.
cool.
But if that hadn't happened, maybe we would know was it James Roebuck?
Yeah.
No, it's
Daniel-
I know who he
Dan-
is.
Maybe, maybe we would know him from more than just The River's Edge.
You know who I know him from?
Hmm.
He played Jay Leno
Oh yeah,
in the
That-
Tonight Show
yeah.
show. That's how like I know him too.
The
That's so funny.
Tonight Show.
The Tonight Show movie. There's an HBO Tonight Show movie. No, it's called The Late Shift. I'm sorry.
Oh, is it
Eh,
like a Between Two Ferns style?
No, it was a biopic, quote unquote, about the David Letterman Jay Leno feud based on this book called The
Oh.
Late Shift. And he played Jay Leno with prosthetics.
Who played Letterman?
Michael Higgins. He does a lot of Christopher Guest stuff. You'd recognize him.
Okay.
Again, other than Tone, great documentary.
And it just reminds you, like, even though these movies have these huge budgets, they have all these professionals, all these people and things like that, it's not really that much different than you doing like an indie project, you know, because they got to wait for weather,
Oh yeah.
for the weather to be right. They got to, you know, they have to find solutions for all the problems that they have. So it was very encouraging to watch.
I think it's a little different nowadays because the difference between an indie project and a big budget project is like
Just more money.
90% of what you're doing is like shooting on a green screen and just imagining what's going to happen. As somebody who has a directing experience, I can't even wrap my mind around how they make those movies.
Right.
But back then, it was, I think, much more similar.
Yeah. And plus, where the money was going, you know, and even though they had $14 million, how tight they had to be with,
Mhm.
you know, with who's getting paid what and all that stuff. I just think that's very interesting because I don't know if everybody knows, but the most expensive part of making a movie is the people. You know, just paying
Yeah.
people to be there to
That's
do whatever.
why.
it
Yeah,
is.
that's why there. It's like, how come like it costs millions of dollars to do this, but then I could make it for free or whatever? It's like, yeah, because you just like you have two people, and then like you're getting a bunch of friends to volunteer their time
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
like food or whatever.
Yeah.
But whenever you're doing a production, it's like, oh, like we have to hire all these people. We have to hire people to hold sticks.
Yeah.
And then like we have
Fans
to
and,
pay,
yeah.
we have to pay them all based
Yeah.
on scale, and it has to
Mhm.
be all above board, and then that starts to tick
We have
up.
to
Yep.
pay
Yeah.
somebody to make sure that other people are being treated fairly. We have to pay somebody like unions, all of it. That's so much money to go into just making like a 2-hour film. But
Yeah, but I mean, people do it professionally. It's
Yeah.
their job, and we come in here and say that's good or that sucks. So
it's crazy.
you better do a good job. So overall, very good. I'm glad you recommended it. I almost want to
Definitely.
go back and watch some more stuff.
So far, I've watched that one in the first episode, which is the Dirty Dancing episode.
No, I'm
That
not
was
gonna
good.
watch that one.
I watched the Die Hard one.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch. I'm
Let's
saving
go.
that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Before we go, Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
It's
Oh God
it's
damn it!
neither. It is and it isn't because it's not important.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
not germane to the movie.
The thing that I've talked about is like back in the day, which when I say back in the day, I mean a couple years ago. Calling Die Hard a Christmas movie was just a fun thing that you said.
Mhm.
And then the internet turned it into a debate.
Yeah.
And it's the stupidest debate ever. Who cares? It takes place on Christmas. Christmas is never referenced other than the fact that he's coming to visit for Christmas. You could think it is or you think it is. It like literally doesn't matter. And it's not a debate. It's not important.
Pineapples on pizza.
One last thing I wanted to bring up
Home
before
Alone
we,
is not a
if we
Christmas
have just a
movie.
little time. I saw an article of people that wanted to like kind of start a movement of
I tried to find an article referencing that. I couldn't find anything, which is why I didn't add it.
Okay, then well,
No, but I mean, I'm,
what-
I'm,
what
I'm
is
not
it?
I
cutting
saw-
you off, but like
it was just like
I couldn't find anything talking about it.
Maybe Facebook took it down because it was false or something, but it looked like it was serious.
I had a perfect
What are you guys talking about?
Yeah,
introduction.
can you
What's
say
Can I
it?
say
going
my,
on?
can I say my introduction
please,
since you're bringing
yeah.
it up?
Go ahead, please.
They want to take away our turtles to save the turtles.
Yeah, it's that's good. I saw something that looked like a movement to stop giving kids action figures or plastic crap is what they called it for Christmas,
Mhm.
and it's in hopes to conserve. But these things are a part of childhoods. They make you build connections to certain things, and they really you can hold them dear. So do you think it's better to just take them away completely, or do you find a different method of making them? I was thinking hemp.
I think there definitely could be we could figure out a better material for making plastic toys, replacing plastic with something else.
Mhm.
I'm definitely down for that. But in terms of just the concept of it, like I am very environmentally conscious, and so is my wife. My wife is way more environmentally conscious than I am. Like she's obsessive about it. I live my life in a way where I try to keep my carbon footprint down as low as possible, and it's something that is always on my mind. But I fucking love these little chunks.
I know, and
Of
Toys are
plastic.
canceled.
yeah,
Yep.
toys are canceled.
Toys
But
are canceled.
Christmas is canceled.
Also, I kind of didn't add it because I was like, what do we say about that? Like,
I just
I agree that plastic is bad for the environment,
Right,
and we
but
we
it's-
make too much of it. I agree.
Well, there's
But I
so
also
many
love
things
toys.
besides action figures that
Right.
that are made of plastic where we could. There's so many places where plastic could be replaced with some kind of alternative, but because plastic is so cheap and they don't monetize environmental or social costs that people will continue. And we're in a capitalist society. People will continue to use
That's
plastic
what I keep saying.
as long as it's cheap and
Yeah.
in a strictly monetary sense.
I just wanted to bring it up. It seemed like it was just like taking away toys is not the answer. I don't think.
No.
It is. Toys are canceled.
Okay.
Last thing before we go, according to a recent interview that Mr. Rogers' widow did in promotion for the new Tom Hanks movie,
This is.
Mr. Rogers loved farting.
Well, he's
In the
canceled.
interview, she said she was keener on imparting to the writers just how funny Fred was. If the couple was out at an event that turned out to be bland, he had a go-to way of making her laugh, passing gas. And then she said he would just raise one cheek and he would look at me and smile, she said, cracking herself up. Mr. Rogers loved farting.
Won't you pull my finger?
That just ruined a whole generation.
Fred is canceled. You're canceled. Farts are canceled. Tom, what's his name?
Cruise.
Hanks.
Hanks is canceled because of flatulence.
Oh.
And that's that.
I sent this article to my wife because she gets mad at me a lot.
For farting?
They come when they go when they come.
Well, that's healthy. But I
Yeah.
mean, as a joke, that would have to get old after years, don't you
Also,
think?
is he
Absolutely
farting on
not.
command?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how amazing it is. That's why
That's
it's
some
even
talent.
funnier.
You never have
He's
one in the
always
chamber
got one
for
locked
an
and
emergency?
loaded.
I don't know.
No, you push
No.
too hard, it's not going to be
Yeah.
a fun. I'll
I
tell
could
you
go
that.
right now.
All right.
Well, good thing we're wrapping up the show.
Yeah. thank you guys so much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. If you like the show and you are not currently subscribed, think about subscribing. If you like the show and you are subscribed, and you think there might be a friend who would enjoy a weekly show where we talk about all of the latest nostalgic news, then maybe share the show with them. And if you haven't already, maybe think about giving us a review and a rating on any platform that you listen to your podcast, whether it's iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher or whatever. If you have any questions, comments, or thoughts, and you want them to potentially be read on the air for the podcast, you can email us at nostalgicastpod@gmail.com. If you like the podcast, if you're subscribed, if you've done everything that we've just discussed, but you want to support us in a potentially more monetary way, you can become a fan of our Facebook page. We have the official Nostalgia Facebook page. If just go to the Nostalgia page on Facebook. There's a button at the top that says Become a Supporter, and you can support us for $4.99 a month. For becoming a supporter, you will get access to exclusive content like bonus episodes and videos. You can also follow us on Instagram at Nostalgia, where we're posting cool nostalgia content every day. You can be a part of our Facebook group, the Nostalgia Facebook group on Facebook. That's it. Thanks for listening, everybody.